It wasn't, sorry, it wasn't who I thought it would be, so it was quick. Okay. Okay, so I know I'm getting long winded. That's why they ask questions, but um, okay. So I'll start at this again. When you arrived back in Quincy, to my knowledge, okay, you had been hanging around with a man named Shane, who's an alcoholic. Jerry said he heard he died. Um, and that he was given a hotel through the Salvation Army and he was letting you stay there. Okay. So that's a concern. People need to not be doing that. That's what's good about issuing warrants. So if by some miracle Brian he's still viewing stuff on the internet, but just ignoring me. Okay. So don't get worried, right? What you've done is you're causing me to do things that are really not warranted. Okay. So it's inevitable, Brian. It's inevitable. You missed your provider appointment. I'm your wife. And even in the text messages that I have, you had already cooled off. You're clearly trying to get back together with me. And then it was, are you coming out tomorrow for the appointment? I think I said yes or probably. And then it was plans to come out there. And just an abrupt 8:30, nothing. You don't respond to phone calls before the appointment, after the appointment, text messages. Man at Health is informed you didn't show up. Okay, it's more concerning than the other one because it's your provider. Okay, and I think you told me you're supposed to have blood work once a month. And the issue was when you talk to the doctor um, on the telehealth, she prescribed to you a medication that you either hadn't been taking before or was you were going back on it. Okay, that was since you've been here. You've only been here a month, um, and then you yourself uh, admitted to me, which is good. You need to tell me these like when something like this happens. Okay, if something like this were ever to happen, I just go. I think you're having a reaction to your medication, so I think that you need to go to the doctor. Okay, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. Okay, so live and learn. Um, it's good on your part not to abandon what we decided to do, at least not without a hospital visit, calming down, stabilize your meds, think about it. Okay. Also, the other things that we discussed privately and I discussed with my therapist about if you wanted to end relations, and that doesn't have to be anybody's business, but we remain married and living with me. Okay. Um, the Vaughn at the library, the security was not too happy about your condition and that you were hanging around with Shane and that he almost had to call an ambulance on Shane. And today is a holiday, library is not open, even more concerned. Um, I would assume if you're not in a hospital that you're drinking because you didn't go to get your prescriptions. Okay. Um, it's I think right. He has to go to a hospital to get medication because he's drinking when he's not going and getting it. So it's super important not to fill prescriptions like that. Okay, when a person is missing their appointments and he has a history of that, because some of those medications triple the effect with the alcohol. Okay, so anyways, you admitted to me that you doubled up on your Adderall. You took two at once. You've done that more than once that you admitted to me. And then one of the medications was supposed to go, I'm just saying this as a reference because I know it went up like 5.5. It was supposed to go from 10 to 15. And you stated all you had was 10s, so you took 20. And I looked you right in the face and said, don't ever do that again. You're not supposed to do that. And I asked if he needed help cutting him and stuff. Like, in my opinion, Your Honor, he cannot be controlling his medication. So I think interviews with him are good because especially if you talk to him for a period of time because he's sort of obnoxious. I don't know when you talk to him, he says yes, 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 and stuff. That's not how he is in real life. Okay. So um, I don't even know about how you do things like orders, just something that is. He already agreed to it, by the way, about the medication, so everybody knows that. We talked about it. Um, for one thing, after this event, I realized some of the things that Brian was sort of complaining about, I have to just not listen to him. That's what I've realized after this event, and I have to be more proactive. It's not that I don't do things for him. Oh yeah, I would have been right at CVS buying one of those things with the that you keep your medication in. Okay, so that doesn't happen again. I really hope that people are not gonna be like I can't be a proper caregiver, right? It's just understanding the nature of exactly what goes on now that it's happened this many times. Okay, because he blames me in in a sense he's using my mental health against me, which wouldn't be effective after this event, it wouldn't be effective. Okay, so I wouldn't become like his mother. And if we weren't in a sexual relationship, there might be sort of more of that. But I don't want to become like, mommy dearest. Um, okay, so at first it was just, you know, I was holding it together because I didn't want to put pressure on him. We hadn't seen each other since June, and this was May of the next year. So I left it alone, cordial, sitting in the thing. It was sort of like it was before with the like the feelings and all of that. And then I asked him to come into the shelter and all of that. So I didn't want to put pressure on him. I didn't want to be like, I just want you to know I still love you and stuff. I didn't do it. I don't know if it was the next day or a couple days later. Apparently, he had spoken to my friend that he knows is my friend, and he talked to him, and then he wanted to get back together with me. So we did. Okay, and then the rest is history. So this time it's been since about what, May. Okay. Um, I probably, because of my desperation to stay together, or because he upset me, I did drink for like 2 days. But last summer I explained 13 year sobriety. He takes off. I think but it's weeks. Like someone tells me he's dead. It was a couple of weeks, and then I stopped, and I stopped smoking as well. Okay, so I don't typically smoke. Drinking, I don't do. I can't really foresee another time to pick up alcohol, especially after this happened and I didn't do it. Okay. Um, Not really in terms of drinking together. Really, not really. Okay, really, not really. So I'm not like a drinking buddy or a drug buddy. Um, so I stopped drinking, but he had until July 1st because you can then set the date and all of that. Second, around that time too is when these people they I find them to be extremely stalking and harassing of Brian. Someone named Ryan, but he went away after a while. But that Mike guy in particular is very aggressive. Ryan, I only met once, but they probably have each other's phone numbers. Every time we're sitting in those fountains, they come over there. I reported it on here several times. Okay, so they do have police there, and they need to be more present. Okay. It's some Okay. I don't think a mass halfway house is going to be good for my husband either. Okay. So um, he was hanging around this Mike guy and Ryan, and it was like 4th of July weekend coming up, and Mike goes, "I'm gonna party all this time." He's the one that takes Brian's Adderall. I know that for a fact. I don't know about the other ones or what else they're doing. And Brian told history of smoking crack cocaine. Okay, so not a good. That is why the problems happened because I was going into the shelter and Brian wasn't. That is why on the second, because I could see the handwriting on the wall. Yeah, some of this stuff you go, he smokes crack cocaine. What the hell is this? When Brian is drinking, that's he's gonna act like that. Like, don't you gotta mind your own business. He doesn't say that when he's sober, Your Honor. He does not say that when he's sober. I don't change when he's sober, and we're this many miles away from Quincy. Okay, and we've been married over. That's part of his addiction problem. And when he's drinking, he's not on his medication. And as you can see right now, he's not with me, so he's gonna say anything. Okay, so right, I'm trying testimony to Brian. This ever broken up with him before? No. It was similar to Plymouth, and then he went to the hospital. Um, so he says he's gone, but he can't come in right now. That means he's not doing. Or like he's gonna extend his drinking and then go in. Okay, it would be impossible for him to stay in there drinking. The conditions there, it's a wonderment he stayed there like he did, and he didn't even leave when he was sober. That's why those people are so damned. I know the judge wants to hear about that too. Okay, we'll get to that. He doesn't show up. He leaves a message that I have on my phone. I put it on a live stream. It's the message where he says, I'm definitely coming into the shelter tonight. I have to go meet Ryan real quick in Wollaston because I don't want to get. I talked to Ryan. He calmed me down. Um, we had a fight because right before that he was talking and he said something about that John guy and he goes Cuddle Bunny because right he does stuff like that. I know that. Right. I don't know if that's Tourette's or dementia or trying to get rid of me. Um, I'm thinking that it's probably more like a dementia or Tourette's because he was doing it here with no intention of getting rid of me. And if I ignored it and walked away, he acts like nothing ever happened. Okay, that's not depression and anxiety. Okay. So, anyways, that was what he meant by calm down because we got in a fight. But it sounds weird too because you go calm down. The agreement was you going in the shelter. So anyway, I called Ryan. He calmed me down. He's going to be a sponsor, Your Honor. A man named Ryan, okay, that goes in and out of Gavin House that I met and looked me right in the face and said he had never has any intention of getting well, Your Honor. That apparently told me his mother pays for sober houses, and they use this Gavin Foundation as a way to get extra drugs and to probably get out of go. That's another hurdle. Someone else will explain. Okay, about mental illness and working and being stabilized and the stresses of that and what your life is right now. Okay, like a lot of this stuff that these community programs spout is true, but typically, okay, when you've decided that a man can't have his own housing, okay, after a detox, he goes through a work program, okay, still doesn't have housing when he's clearly, in my opinion, mentally ill and he should be in disabled housing. So, people talking about all special programs, what is that when the man is not even on a disability? Okay, that's like not making any sense to me. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, that Ryan, uh, the one who's got the hallucinogens and he's never going to get well. And apparently, he can't get into the stuff that the state pays for, so his mother does. His own mother won't let him live with her. So he's got a lot more to him than just what I met, I'm sure. Um, he doesn't really want to get drunk. That's what he's saying in the message. He doesn't really want to get drunk. So that person is going to help him not get that drunk when he's already drunk when he's calling me. So whatever that means, are they? I don't know if they're using a different type of drug because none of that makes any rational sense. Okay. Ryan stated to me, Brian stated to me he doesn't even recall leaving me that message. Okay. So it gets that bad. Okay. Between his mental illness and his using. Okay. Um, it freaked me out because there was a guy around Quincy the year before that telling people his name was both Ryan and Greg. And the same thing about meeting him in Wollaston, right? So it's he never shows up at the and I'm definitely gonna be with you. Okay. He never shows up. Nothing comes. I think I sent him a slew of stuff and said that she was not gonna let him talk to me, which now that would never happen. That's inappropriate. Right. That's so hopefully we don't have that going on the other end. No one has answered it. Okay. Some people get sick and should be doing that. Okay. No one should be doing that. It, right. It's probably if someone was doing that, if you're somewhere in that and you think that you're running a detox or something, you're not. Okay, because I'm his next of kin contacted his wife, so you could call me and tell me. Okay. Because the state, I believe, wants to make sure that we don't have people kidnapping other people because it's all over the television. Okay, so sometimes you think you're protecting people, you're not. You don't have the legal right to decide that with a man that is altered, given all the stuff that's happened and is in my phone to prove it. You don't have the given right legally to do that. Okay. I haven't committed a domestic battery against my husband. Okay. Um, Sometimes people get sick like that and they just, Jerry had it happen to him. Okay. So there's people doing weird shit like that. She tried to have Jerry sectioned and it's a friend of his. And she went to his mother's house. Okay. I'm basically warning an actual judge doing it. Okay, like in case people got confused, like his friend Ryan, and you weren't going to his court case. Donnie can't even tell you because he's. Oh yeah, it's in here. Hold on. Oh, I don't have those, do I? Hey, we weren't married yet, right, Your Honor? You better get the bleep out of my face. Have cases for assault and battery, dude. You're obviously some sort of disgusting scumbag. You just followed my husband back from taking a shower and you're talking to me like that? I have a photo mass ID. He doesn't need you to fill a prescription for him. And if he's supposed to fill a prescription, he would have his mass ID on him. Something happened where he didn't have his EBT card in his Massachusetts photo ID because someone probably had to steal it from him. Right. I would. If I'm not going to use it, but the thing is, he has to have it to fly on the airplane. But oh yeah, just I don't know if it was that John guy, if it was Donnie, and Brian just doesn't know it. You have to be careful though in a man's pocket. Yeah, you have to be careful because yeah, just no, dude. Okay, Thursday, June 27th. Okay, that's the thing about that. Okay, so during these times, this is what it shows too. Yeah, the pills around 8 would be good, meaning to fill a prescription, not I have pills. Okay. I don't have pills, Brian. This is your friend Mary Gladys. I don't have pills. No, it's CVS. LOL. I need your ID. Okay, so when he's in that mode, apparently he thinks he doesn't care. Okay, just so anybody, some people probably know that. If he's manic episode, probably. Okay, call your guy friend you thought was funny to bring to the fountains. I can't help you with your pills. Not to bring it up because, as I said, I'm not angry. You wanted to break up yesterday. That's why you did it. Just offer anyone in Quincy Adderall, and I'm sure they can help you. Okay, so if there's a confusion on Brian's part about why sometimes Mary gets angry, okay, whatever it is he's telling people in the future, question it. Question it. Okay, because he'd be forgetting things that he's saying to me and then doesn't understand my reaction. Okay. You said that guy was helping you yesterday after I told you you could use mine. I'm helping you get out. You clearly made a decision yesterday to end with me. I'd like to remain friends, so maybe let it go. Okay, so there's definitely some sort of struggle there that oh, for me in terms of the relationship, I really do. I think it's someone who relapsed again and is still trying to blame it on me, and then he fell into a despair about it. When I really do. So in terms of making decisions and stuff, a man refusing to go to a hospital and have a psych eval when you know that he's off his medication and he ended up telling me later that the guy didn't. I don't know if he told me the guy didn't show up or he the guy didn't want to wait around. Like, yeah, things this can happen. Okay, Brian, because this is why it's been to a year and a half, Brian, that I have asked you to a psychiatric hospital. Okay, okay, because had you done that as your wife, I would have something. Okay, this is why you can actually do things that don't have anything to do with you wanting to break up with me or divorce me and have nothing to do with your drug and alcohol use. Okay. Example, there may have been some thought process going on there that made sense to you at the time that doesn't make sense other than overthinking mental illness stuff. Like that you'd have to just describe to me what was going on. But you know what? When you're sober and you're with me, I wouldn't be questioning everything you're doing like during this time. So I know I'm not getting snippy. This is good for me because I know I'm not getting angry and snippy at you as much as I was. So being sober has greatly improved our relationship, in my opinion. Not it was better before we got married. Addiction can play with your mind. If you're having doubts, you're texting stuff. I never loved you. You're being triggered by wrestling. You're being triggered by opening up that other Facebook page. You're being triggered by putting glasses. You're being triggered by cutting hair, whatever that is. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, it was like, but he never took off and stuff. He was like, right, like he could have decided after that separation period, after Faulkner Hospital, that again, like he knew he wanted to be with me, and it's just deal with whatever's going on with him. So I hope he understands that now. Okay, this is some sort of a relapse and a what do they call it? Aspiration of his mental illness. My mother's mentally ill, Brian. So exasperation is that what they call it? Okay. To hear you actually apologize. I fucked up. Sorry. I'm sorry. And then the thing is actually cute. It's Jim Carrey. It made sense. because it says I'm sorry and you're typing, you're apologizing. Okay. So did you call your aunt again, then start talking about your ex rather than just saying you wanted to spend the rest of the day alone? I don't do stuff like this anymore. Okay. Just so, right. Sobriety in marriage really improves these types of situations. So if you're dating someone like this, they have to go, they have to get sober and you have to get married. Okay. Make sure that you actually have a good relationship though when you want to stay married. Okay, not it was better before, Brian, because your condition was bad and I was all flipped out about our relationship, and that's not going on now. Right. That's how your life is going to be. Anywhere you go, I would think you'd rather be with someone that you love. Um, why did you say before? Okay, I thought. Okay. Why? See, I understand it more. He never explained to me. He just explained this to me a couple of weeks ago. So give me a little bit of. That's why I wanted him to do all this at Faulkner Hospital. Okay, just to make sure. That's what I was trying to figure out. Is he a drug addict or he's mentally ill? And if he is, what is it? Is he mentally competent to consent? All of that. Okay. Then why did you say before I leave? And he wrote, I thought I'd leave at 5 because they close at 5. I wasn't thinking. Okay, so there's not as much paranoia about him breaking up with me, but it sounds like now he has a little bit of it, which is natural. Okay. Okay, and this was good. I do want to hang out, definitely. I just thought because of the rain, you may want to go home. Okay. I doubt it was true. Monday, July 1st. Court tomorrow, pre-trial, and then the 29th. Was that who had court? Was that him? Court tomorrow, pre-trial, and then the 29th. Yeah, that's coming from him. Okay, so we had court on the 2nd. Okay. No, he wasn't drunk when we got the marriage license for being a drunk. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to get any alcohol until we did it. We already had planned it, but yeah, it's not like, okay, I'll buy you a beer, dude, that I found on the street corner. But okay, baby, move it down. Okay, and he also left a message. So before the wedding, I'm in charge of his court dates, not Donnie, not Denise, Mary. Okay. Um, Court tomorrow got messed up because stay away order, and he made up a whole bunch of excuses for why he couldn't stay at the shelter and then go to court with me. Get it? Right, because he knows I have a stay away order. Okay, and I know about his places and stuff, but he drinks and drinks and drinks. It has not, for me, it has nothing to do with cheating. I don't know what he's done with other people, but it has nothing to do with cheating. Um, there's a bunch of Halloween movies. Uh, Love You Too, I'm coloring. Okay, so he's at the fountains. Okay, so everybody knows it's right here on the 1st. Okay. Black hair too, hulking out. Call me, please. Okay. Because Brian does weird stuff sometimes, and I wasn't aware of that. Right, like there was way more stuff going on before we got married. I think he forgot. You were drunk all the time, right? There was way more, maybe on his part, right? Maybe on his part because he was drunk all the time. You just go, dude, I was clearly constantly pissed off and I've got you and stuff like. I think I'm way better in the relationship. I think you said something that you didn't mean. Okay, and you may have actually already been in some kind of psychotic break or something when you said that. That was right before the big flip out, where you're basically talking like you're your father talking to your mother or something. Things were way better before we got married. That's a really hurtful thing to say. Okay. I don't know if he's hearing voices and saying them out loud. Okay. That's a really hurtful thing to say. Uh, Air conditioning works great in here. You're going to love it. So, this is the day he's supposed to come into the shelter, right? Tuesday, July 2nd. Okay. So then I realize, okay, after 3 or 4 weeks, they give you a bed because that's what I thought. And then all of a sudden, okay, an hour and a half and you'll died. Okay, so I'm starting. 5 o'clock. All you have to do is not show up. This is what I'm texting to him. He probably never even got it. He shuts his phone off. This could be part of the reason he was frantic the next day. Right? He shuts his phone off when he's doing this business. Okay. Um, they told me I'm banned for life. He texts me. Why didn't you tell me that when you promised you'd come in? Right? This is all addiction stuff right here. I couldn't come, man. This okay, so this is the next day. They told me I'm banned for life. Why didn't you immediately call me and text me that? Okay. I couldn't come, man. I love you. Call me, please. I'm okay. I slept in Wollaston, not with John or Dawn. I couldn't charge my phone till now. Okay. So that's a common excuse that he uses, that he couldn't charge his phone till now. I mean, that could be true. Okay, that could be true, Brian, except you said you'd come in the shelter. Right, I'm not reiterating that back to him. I'm explaining how he acts when he's using. That's why I said if he's out there having all these conversations, that he's legally married for a reason. Police in Quincy. He's legally married for a reason. So you people need to stop. I'll block like that. You've been in Quincy too long? Okay, you've been in Quincy too long. Okay? I don't care what you think homeless people are drug addicts. The man is mentally ill and I'm his wife. Okay? I'm explaining it to you that he's off his like he could be in physical danger. He would want you to pick him up and put him in a police car in a jail for 3 days. He would. Yep. He may act like he doesn't want you to, but he is scared to death by what's happening to him right now. He does not want to be doing that. Okay. All right. So people have to buy me food because you spent all of my money in Snap. That's me to him, and then took off because that's what he used to do. Okay, that's what he did in 2023. I still would use the food but not give him money. Okay. People have to buy me food because you spent all of my money and then took off. That was my perception of it. Okay, so you have like for me, I'm not going to tell somebody else how to be Brian Buchanan's wife and probably his designee because that he's already got an established someone. If you know they can't be in charge of finances, and you have to put your foot down. And they are going to act at first mad and stuff, but there's nothing they can do about it, especially if it's not your spouse. And um, people don't understand why you're contacting me today. The library was open until 9 p.m. Meaning, how is your phone not charged? Okay. And then you have my, oh, okay. So then there's no text to Wollaston and not coming to the shelter and not remembering leaving that voice message. Okay. And sleeping behind CBs. Okay. Smell. You called me and said that you were going to Wollaston to meet up with Ryan. I told him the whole voicemail. And he goes, I did. Okay, so he might have been equating these events to his using because he's been usually drunk for like all the time. Okay, so he called when I talked to him. This is why I talked to him. He said he called an ambulance on himself. Just let me know, and then they let him communicate with me at the hospital. Okay, so say that you were a different hospital or the same hospital or something. There, for one thing, he may become extremely agitated if you don't let him communicate with me, at least to let me know that he's there. Okay. He might be worried that I'm talking to someone else. Right. That he knows he didn't show up at an appointment, and now like he could be worried that I showed up there and I'm emotionally upset or whatever. That's why it's really not good to purposely be withholding a phone from this person, and then you make up excuses that they've got to have all these medications and stuff. Okay. Life. Okay. That would be why he would want to talk to me. You have my damn snap card. Use it. That's because we. This was after we went to the hospital. Okay. Okay. So I wrote, "Okay, good, and I do love you. I'll be there for you either way." And I'm sorry about the Facebook. Okay, these are the ones where, right. He sent me a picture because I wanted to make sure he wasn't lying. And I hope he understands that because of drug addicts. And sometimes people that are mentally ill do weird stuff. Okay. Yep, hospital. Remember that? Okay. The rest of these should be nothing but friendly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we didn't have any fights until after Gav because of the pot. Okay, so right when he is not using, even when he was using a certain degree, that had something to do with him refusing to go into the shelter. I think this is going to matter to the court, Brian. Okay. Because your behavior is not really your usual behavior. Okay. So he wouldn't go into the shelter because he wanted to drink, even though he doesn't want to live like. Okay, so I got him on July 3rd to finally address at least that. He didn't stay at Faulkner Hospital for 3 weeks. He stayed there for a day. Okay. He didn't get out of Gavin and call Ryan and call Mike. Okay. He talked to me every day. Um, and then I met him there. There was nobody else there but me to pick him up. Okay. He went right to the shelter with me as agreed, and he sat in that dining room like that for how long was it? July. The first time after we got married. So I'm skipping ahead. Okay, so he gets to the shelter on July 25th. Okay.